For the first time, a former board member is speaking out. Helen Toner was one of the OpenAI members behind the coup, and on a podcast, she pointed to a toxic atmosphere, psychological abuse, sketchy safety processes, and accuses Altman of outright lying.
OpenAI CEO got fired. Let's take a closer look at concerns around CEO Sam Altman's leadership and impact on the future of artificial intelligence and OpenAI. In a surprising turn of events last November, OpenAI made headlines by firing its CEO Sam Altman. The decision sent shockwaves through the tech community, leaving many wondering what led to this dramatic move. In an exclusive interview on the TED AI Show podcast, former OpenAI board member and AI researcher Helen Toner shed light on the reasons behind Altman's dismissal. OpenAI's board operates as a non-profit entity with a clear mission: to prioritize the company's public good objectives over profits and investor interests. Their role is crucial in ensuring that OpenAI remains committed to its original purpose. However, according to Toner, Altman's actions over the years made it challenging for the board to fulfill its duty effectively. Toner didn't mince words when discussing Altman's behavior. Altman allegedly kept critical information from the board, hindering their ability to oversee the company's operations.
For years, Sam had made it really difficult for the board to actually do that job by, withholding information, misrepresenting things that were happening at the company, in some cases outright lying to the board.
Transparency is essential for a nonprofit organization, especially one with a mission as ambitious as OpenAI's. Toner claimed that Altman misrepresented events within the company. When the board relies on accurate information to make decisions, any distortion can have far-reaching consequences. Perhaps the most damning accusation was that Altman outright lied to the board. Trust is paramount in any organization, and deception erodes that trust. Weeks of intense discussion, the decision to remove Altman wasn't taken lightly.
On multiple occasions, he gave us inaccurate information about the small number of formal safety processes that the company did have in place.
The board engaged in weeks of intense discussions, weighing the evidence against him. The gravity of the situation demanded careful consideration, as Altman's actions had far-reaching implications for OpenAI's future. Why did the board keep Altman's dismissal under wraps? Toner explained that they anticipated Altman's resistance. If he caught wind of their intentions, he would pull out all the stops to undermine their efforts. To prevent interference, the board limited the number of people informed in advance, mainly their legal team. Despite their meticulous planning, the outcome wasn't what the board had hoped for. Altman was initially ousted, but the aftermath was chaotic. Outcry, accusations, and uncertainty surrounded the decision. In a surprising twist, OpenAI rehired Altman as CEO. The controversy didn't end there. The company also revamped its board, removing those who had supported Altman's removal. What concerns did Toner express about Altman's actions? According to Toner, the board was shocked to learn about the release of ChatGPT in November 2022 through social media rather than from Altman himself. When ChatGPT came out, the board was not informed in advance. "We learned about GPT on Twitter," she said. Additionally, Toner claimed Altman did not disclose his ownership of the OpenAI startup fund, despite asserting that he had no financial interest in the company. She also mentioned that Altman provided inaccurate information regarding the company's safety processes, making it difficult for the board to assess their effectiveness. Toner accused Altman of retaliating against her after she co-authored a research paper titled Decoding Intentions, Artificial Intelligence and Costly Signals, which analyzed AI safety measures and included OpenAI and its competitor, Anthropic. Altman reportedly found the paper too critical of OpenAI and overly complimentary of Anthropic. After the paper's publication in October, Toner claimed that Altman spread lies about her to other board members in an effort to have her removed, further eroding their trust in him. Toner noted that for any individual case, Altman would always offer an innocuous-sounding explanation to downplay its significance or suggest it was misinterpreted. However, she added that after years of such instances, the 4 board members who ultimately decided to fire him concluded they could no longer trust what Altman was telling them. Toner emphasized that a lack of trust in the CEO is untenable for a board meant to provide independent oversight. The board's inability to trust Altman, their main source of information about the company, made their position totally impossible. Despite attempts to address these issues with new policies and processes, other executives reported their own negative experiences with Altman. They described a toxic atmosphere and backed up their allegations of lying and manipulation with screenshots and documentation. Some even use the term psychological abuse to describe their interactions with Altman, expressing doubts about his ability to lead the company toward AGI. They believed there was no point in giving him feedback or trying to work through these issues. Altman was ousted from the board and briefly removed from his role as OpenAI's CEO in November 2023. The reason given was that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board. However, this decision did not sit well with the employees. Out of 700 staff, 505 signed a letter demanding that the board resign. This backlash led to Altman being reinstated within a few days. OpenAI's board plays a crucial role in making safety and security recommendations for the company's projects. However, the board's job was reportedly made difficult by Altman's lack of transparency in communication. Toner also claimed that Altman hid his ownership of the OpenAI Startup Fund from the board. The OpenAI Startup Fund, founded in 2021, is a $175 million venture capital fund that invests in AI, technology, healthcare, and education companies, with the goal of creating a positive global impact. They said that if you look at his track record, it's not full of glowing references, and that this wasn't just a problem with the personalities on the board, no matter how much he would like to portray it that way. Who is Ian Hathaway in relation to the fund's governance changes? According to a March 29th filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, the fund's governance structure has changed and is no longer owned or controlled by Altman. The fund is now controlled by Ian Hathaway, who has been a partner at the fund since 2021. Over 500 out of 700 employees said they would quit if Altman were not brought back. According to Toner, employees were made to believe that if Altman did not return immediately, without any accountability, and with a new board he chose, OpenAI would be ruined. Toner explained that he understood why people conformed, whether it was due to the prospect of making a lot of money from an upcoming tender offer, or because they loved their team and didn't want to lose their job. He mentioned that they cared about their work and that many, including himself and his colleagues, didn't want the company to fall apart. Toner mentioned that people had witnessed Sam retaliate against others for being critical, which instilled a significant amount of fear. This fear made it difficult for those who had negative experiences with him to speak up when some employees began advocating for his return to save the company. They were concerned that if Sam remained in power, their lives would become miserable. Toner highlighted Altman's troubled work history, which came to light after his attempted firing from OpenAI. She pointed out that Altman had been fired from his previous role at Y Combinator due to alleged self-serving behavior. According to Toner, OpenAI was not the only company that had issues regarding Altman. Toner continued, mentioning that at Sam Altman's previous job in Silicon Valley, the management team at his startup Loop had twice asked the board to fire him due to what they described as deceptive and chaotic behavior. They said that if you look at his track record, it's not full of glowing references, and that this wasn't just a problem with the personalities on the board, no matter how much he would like to portray it that way. Toner and Macaulay are not the only former OpenAI staffers who have concerns about Altman's leadership. Lead safety researcher Jan Lakey resigned earlier this month, citing disagreements with management's priorities. What were Lakey's main concerns? Lakey argued that OpenAI should focus more on safety, security, and societal impact. Chief scientist and former board member Ilya Sutskever also resigned, though he mentioned wanting to work on a personal project. The Wall Street Journal and others reported that while Ilya Sutskever, a big brain at OpenAI, wanted to ensure that AI wouldn't harm people, Altman was all about speeding up new tech. Altman's exit caused a stir. Almost all OpenAI employees signed a letter, and big names like Microsoft weren't happy. But in a surprising twist, Altman was back in charge in just a week. Toner and Macaulay, who didn't want Altman around, left the board. Sutskever gave up his board seat but stayed with the company until mid-May. D'Angelo, who also voted against Altman, stayed put. Come March, OpenAI showed off its new board lineup, bringing Altman back. They wrapped up an internal checkup by WilmerHale, a law firm, about the whole firing thing. OpenAI kept the details of WilmerHale's report under wraps but shared the gist. Brett Taylor, the board chair, said trust between the old board and Altman and Greg Brockman, another top dog at OpenAI, had tanked. The board meant well, but they didn't see the chaos coming after they fired Altman. In response, Altman then President Greg Brockman defended OpenAI's approach to safety. They announced that Altman would lead OpenAI's new safety and security team. Meanwhile, Lakey has joined Anthropic. Do you think Sam Altman's actions are justifiable, or do they reveal a deeper issue within OpenAI's leadership? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more content.